Hey, hey. Get the comments over here. Oh, give it a second for people to jump in here. NKY Honeybees, what's up, man? Hey, I don't think I honestly know your first name. I got thinking about that the other day. Adjust this camera there. Struggling beekeeper Mark. How you doing, Mark? 86 off road. What's up, buddy? There's the now I gotta figure out how to pronounce that because I know I'll mess it up. What country are you from? Just curious, because I know the accent. I've probably asked you this before. Aberlin, what's up, man? How are you? Tanya Frisbee, how are you? Oh man, Blanca. Yeah, Blanca. Just so everybody's safe down there. I know a couple of my coworkers are. Oh man, NKY. I got to tell you some wild stories. I would say something on here, and you would probably crack up laughing. But Blanca, a couple of my coworkers are actually down in. One of the bigwigs from the company I work with is in Dallas, and no power. So yeah, they're struggling pretty good down there. So I don't think anybody in here speaks Bosnian. Do you speak Bosnian? I'm curious. Mike's Bees and Gardens. A Bosnian buddy of mine told me one phrase. Now, there was some booze involved. And this phrase that he taught me, and I knew what it was. What was it? Leisha Mamuda? Something like that? And I know it's something bad, so you're probably cracking up laughing right now. So, yeah, Tanya, I checked. Don't even ask about that. But yeah, Tanya, I checked Kinfolk Farm. What's happening? Tanya, I checked. Hey, Rodney. Hey, Russell. Tanya, I checked mine today, and now I know the temp seems a little low because Mike's Bees and Gardens, I texted him earlier, but this is, I don't know if you all can see that. So 41 and then 26, the lower. That's that. I'm going to be cracking up over that little Bosnian phrase all night. Hey, John Badaspies. Yeah, I appreciate you stopping in, brother. So I just watched you with that honey, man. That looks so good. Mike, you can't say it on YouTube. I'll tell you another time. There's a story behind that. Oh man, Mike, I'll tell you because it's pretty good. That sensor being 41. Oh my God, I'm gonna be cracking up for a little bit. It's sitting above the inner cover, so with it being 41, and there's no bees up there. I ran the little scope in there, and there's no bees up top. So 41 for up top, you figure that's above, the clusters and all that, and it's in that upper space with that front entrance. It was 26 degrees outside, and then that space up there is 41. I'll take that. So they're in there. I know they're good, but yeah, Tanya, I get everybody in here worrying about their bees now. So somebody else, I forget who it was. Yeah, John, it was. John, I'll text you with what it was. Rodney. Yeah, Rodney, 86 off road had somebody all going the other day. yesterday or something. I forget which. No, 2 days ago. So, yeah, it was funny. Sweet Pea, how are you? I was listening to most of your live when I was driving. I was trying. I'd hit a red light and I'd throw in a comment or something, and then drive up the street a little bit more. So, uh, yeah, John, I'll have to tell you. Uh, oh man, NKY, a buddy of mine. His name is Mirza, and I worked with him, and we were in St. Louis, is where I learned that phrase. So, I met his mom, and they were straight from Bosnia, um, and he was like, "Tell my mom what you learned," and I'm like, "I ain't telling her that," And he's like, "Tell her, she'll laugh." And so I said that, and his mom cracked me and looked at him and was like, "What are you teaching him this?" Oh man, it was funny. So, oh well, it was -3 here. Wow. So Tanya, I'll say that I don't know how many years have you had bees? Because a couple years ago, I'm trying to think. When did we have that last bad polar vortex that came through? Was it 2 years ago? I think 2 years ago. Hey Jesse, what's happening? Good to see you. Good to see you. Man, -23. Wow. But yeah, like 2 years or so ago, when we had that polar vortex, it hit -42 here. And I was like, yeah, there you go. Last polar vortex 2 years ago. Thanks, Mike. That's crazy. No. I was as worried as all get out. I mean, -42, I was like, oh my gosh, everything is, they're going to be frozen. Sandy, what is happening? Appreciate you stopping in. Freedom Flag, what's going on, man? How are you? Bama Bees coming in here too. What's up, Jason? But yeah, I was all worried about, the hives just because, I think I had, well, that would have been my second winter. Hey, Sandy, thank you so much. Yeah, that was just crazy how I got all of those and jumped up. I just still, so, but, like I was saying, I was all worried about them, and they were fine. I walked down and, checked them afterwards, and I was in Michigan at the time, but when I got home, I checked them, and they're fine. Sit and listen, and they were fine. So, bees do their thing. So, yeah, I'm doing good. Freedom Flag. Yeah. So, so I'll say this. So while I have some people in here now, I think I'll say that Bama Bees, I think you got it. I know Sandy got it. Couple people in here got it. I don't know if you got it. Mark, I don't know. So I'm going to say this. So the last video here that I put out when I checked, basically, a few people knew. I've said it. Listen to my 5 hives I have here at the house today, and they were all buzzing. Mark, that is awesome. That's great news there, buddy. Yeah, that is awesome. Happy for you. Yeah. And Mark, I tell you, I think we only got about 2 more weeks. Well, not even that, maybe about 10 days. I think in 10 days I saw it was going to hit 40 here. So that's good. That's good news. So, but we all know in this area, March gets a little bit iffy just because there's nothing out there for them. So, but back to my last video, the Day of the Dead Hives. Another key piece. Oh, there we go. Carrying with veggies and flowers. Love my bees. Yeah. It'll be in the 50s next week. Your girls are going to be out flying. Yeah. Yes, Sandy. There we go. Russell, your upper entrances keep frosting up every day, so I know they're live. Yep. Yeah, there you go, buddy. Yeah. Yep. The Fluffy Life. How are you? Welcome. So I do want to say I'm going to share this screen here, and what I want to point out is I'm going to highlight right there. So those beekeepers in here. So this Saturday, the live that I'm going to have my 101. What's up, brother? How you doing? 101 last night. I was so tired. I think I was asleep when your stream came on, buddy. So I'll be there tonight, though. I'll get some mod, make sure I check things for you and stuff like that. So, do you make honey candy? I do not. So, but what I want to point out is on this video here, this screen. So this Saturday with the live I'm going to do it. Oh yeah, 101. Yeah. We all got to have those nights to rest. So, but yeah, I'll see you tonight though. 2 prizes this Saturday, and it's to celebrate the hitting the 1,000 subs that who came in here threw me over that. So 101 that just blew my mind last Saturday. So Beehive Homestead, what is up? Auntie W, what's happening? But the 2 prizes for Saturday. So what I want to do is one of them will go to a beekeeper. I've done this before where, I have a giveaway and I just want to make sure it goes to a beekeeper because that's mainly what my channel is, beekeeping, and then I dabble in some other stuff, the grill, and I throw in a little reloading here and there too. So, if you look at that video, there's a little phrase in there and it has watch the video and comment. And this is for the beekeeper prize. Comment, this hive was the second one you checked and lost. So a couple people caught it already. I know there's like 4 or 5 people that caught it, but I just want those that didn't, like Mike's Bees and Gardens. Mike, if you didn't, MKY, my Bosnian buddy there now, if you didn't catch it, I just got to check and see. But Rodney and all those beekeepers in here, make sure you check that, because then Friday night about midnight, I'm going to do a cutoff. That way I can get, all the names, and I'm going to do that wheel of names again, throw everything on there, and, that way that'll be for that prize. Now, the other prize, I'm going to do an Amazon gift card. I'm thinking of an amount on that. I don't have that. I'm about as lucky as Charlie Brown, Blanchard Peace. That's hilarious. But yeah, just make sure to double check that video, and it's that bottom phrase. It's under the comments. I should have said something like in the top. Look at the, look at the comments in there. But that's it. So, Norseman Honey, Ray, what's happening? What is happening? Karen Sand. So let's see. We have bees that are in our chickens. Oh, food, I take it. Will getting a hive solve this poo problem in Southern California? Oh, hey, welcome from 101. Yeah, 101 threw me over a lot of people. So bees are probably going to, as far as keeping them out of something, they're going to get, if they find a source for something, they're going to get in it. It's just like people when they have pools, neighbors complain about bees going into the pools and that, and you can't stop them. So I wish that you could tell them, kind of whisper and say, hey, no, don't go over there. But if they found something they like, they're going to go there. They will. So, yeah, Mark, check it out, because it's definitely. Look at what we got here. What's up, buddy?
Not much. I got a. Why is there an echo?
I don't know.
Good?
Not me.
Okay. I got to always crash your stuff.
Yeah. I'd say I'd throw a raid on your channel, but you already get like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 in there, so. You know,
Whatever you want to do, brother. It's not up to me.
I'll do the castle raid on your channel. I'll bring over 23.
Hey, whatever. I mean, if
Yeah,
you want to, do it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, last night, man, I tell you, I was so tired. I don't even think I made it to 9 o'clock last night. It was crazy. I fell asleep so early.
You don't have to worry about, missing the live. Although last night's was a very good one. We had a lot of good people on there.
Oh, did you?
I had Bear Independent. I had Pinball. I had North Shore.
Oh, cool. Cool.
So.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'll be on there tonight. So, yeah, good deal.
So what you got going here?
Just chatting. That's all. So I wanted to make sure I told people about one of the 2 giveaways for this Saturday. So and some couple people did. They found it already. So, but I just wanted to make sure this Saturday for my 1,000 subs that I kind of jumped past that thanks to somebody that's in here talking.
It wasn't me. It was the community.
Yeah. Muddy Boots, what's happening, man? Matt and Sarah, hello. But I've done this before, and I can't even, I think it was maybe for my 500 subs. I did 2 separate giveaways, and one of them was specific to a beekeeper, and that's what I'm doing again.
So you're doing beekeeping things.
Well, one of them is a beekeeper thing, and hey, Sandy, I'll see you. Thanks for stopping in. One's a beekeeper. It's going to be a hive tool, and then the other one's going to be an Amazon gift card. So, in that one, pretty much it could go to anybody, just so I can verify the email, and then I'll just email them over a picture of the card or just send them it. I mean, I know from Amazon you can just shoot the person an email with it. So I think that's what I did.
1 second, the dog wants out. I'll be right back.
Okay. But yeah, well, that's what I did last time, is just emailed over. And those in here so wondering what the beekeeper thing. Will wild bees be attracted to a new hive that are living in our salt cedar tree? So Karen, typically those wild bees are going to stay put. And as far as if you put up like a new hive, John, Unpaved Explorer, what's up, buddy? If you put up like just a empty hive that's sitting there, Matt and Sarah, Prepping 101, prepping channel. It's got to hit like that box that you put up when bees go out and swarm. They're looking for and Freedom Flag. I'll get to your question there in a second too. Mike, you take care, brother. I'll talk to you. I'll tell you about the little phrase there that I said. But bees, if you just put a hive out there, there's got to be certain specific. They're looking for a certain size, like for a swarm. Now, if you set it out there for that colony, that hive to just totally leave a tree to go into that box, I doubt it would happen. Be a miracle if that happened. But there's ways that I've seen people trap them out of trees and stuff like that. I don't know anything about that. But yeah, John, they are. Now, Saltwaterborn, what is up? And what Ray's saying right there, find the queen and they'll move in. That'd be the thing. If you all could trap the queen, they'll follow that queen. So, back on up to, do I make the honey? I do. I do get honey, and I do sell a little bit of it. So right now I'm completely out of all of it. So, yeah, right there, what Rodney's saying. Yeah, and the swarm commander, it's a pheromone. So, beehive, I'm thinking, beehive.
Hey,
Homestead. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. Another night.
Yeah, I can't see any comments or anything, so I don't
Okay, I'm
know.
back.
Hey, Preston. Yeah, I just want to tell you, Brian, man, I saw your video. It was a little heartbreaking, man. Anytime people lose some bees, I know your pain with it. I thank God, because like I have 3 hives right now, and I just actually went and cleared ice off of them a couple days ago, and thankfully they're still doing okay. But
That's good.
I guess a neighbor. He's not even a neighbor. He's my friend. We have 2 hives over at his place. He actually lost both of his already this year.
Wow. There's been so many people. I don't even know what it is, but this winter, I've talked to so many people that have lost, like literally prior winters, everything's fine. Come through, and you might, if you have a dozen, you might lose 1. And that's expected. You're going to lose a certain percentage. I think Ian, Canadian Beekeeper blog,
Right.
I think he said over his winters he expects a 10% loss. And now he's got 1,500 colonies. Over his winter, he says, I expect to lose 150. So, and that's just expected stuff. So
how many bees are typically in a hive?
So it varies, but they typically say, like in the summer, you'll say about 50,000.
Mm-hmm.
So now when in the springtime here, I said that 101, I said I was going to buy packages. When you get a 3-pound package and it has a queen in a little separate cage.
Right.
Yep.
I've seen that.
Yep. Those 3-pound packages have about 10,000 bees in them.
Holy shit.
Yep. Yeah. Imagine riding in a car and you got like three packages stacked in your front seat with a seatbelt on them going down the road.
Yeah. I went and picked up a hive before. I picked up a nuke. And 101, what a nuke is, it's a nucleus colony. I'm starting to see a couple hearts and stuff. He loves doing this. 42.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I gotta stop doing this.
That's okay. I don't care. So, what's up there, Jess? But a nucleus colony, what it is, it's a 5-frame, smaller colony. And typically when you buy them, they'll have 2 frames of brood. That's the eggs and the baby bees. And they'll have stores in there. So you get, you basically are buying a smaller hive that's already got a laying queen, and it's already kind of, you're getting a hive that you get a jump start. So I had gone and picked up one of those in Southern Ohio. And what's up, Tony 915? And 101, when I was driving back, now as good as what they could seal it up, I didn't really duct tape it. There's some people that will get like a net. It's almost like a bug screen, and you put it over the hive. I didn't have none of that stuff. It's the first time I went and picked up a nuke that far.
So he said that he lost about 150. Does the queen replenish the bees that quickly enough to where, losing 150 is not a big deal, or is that a lie?
Well, it kind of goes like when you lose. So when the winter comes, there's 2 different kinds of like. I didn't mean to steal it, Brian. If you want to answer it, you can.
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
So when you have your, basically what it's called is like you have your spring and your summer bees, but then you have your winter bees. What happens is when the bees get ready for winter, a queen lays like a winter bee, so to speak, and those bees, they can live up to 45 days, but the queen stops laying. She usually stops laying, depending on the weather-wise. Like I think here in Virginia, the queen stops laying, like mine stopped laying this year around, I say it's probably close to the end of November because we had such a warm November. What will happen is they just huddle together in like a softball, and they'll just sit there just to keep their heat. And what happens is a lot of colonies die because if they can't keep their heat up, or they can't lose, or excuse me, if they lose their cluster at all, they break that cluster. Too much air comes in, cold air, it'll kill them, or it'll kill the babies that they're trying to keep alive. She doesn't lay that many after it. So when people say they expect a loss, you're naturally thinking if you have a very harsh winter, that you're going to come out of it with loss. Like one of mine, last year I lost 2 hives where they had plenty of honey, plenty of bee bread, plenty of like stores saved up in the hives. It was 2 boxes. But the problem was we had a very, very warm week where it got up into the 60s. And then that following weekend, it plummeted all the way down to, I think it was like 12 degrees. So my bees, they already broke the cluster, and they didn't make it back in time because I found bees scattered out in different parts of my boxes.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's hard.
That's a big issue when a lot of people, when like you get a really, really mild winter and you don't get into those cold temps, like up here in Ohio, especially if we get like a warm stretch, it's actually bad because what Beehive said, your bees typically will stay huddled in a cluster, and on the outer side, you know, they'll shiver and stuff. And I tell people, it's just like when we work out, you generate body heat. So they do that. And when they break cluster and they're out, you know, if they're even leaving the hive and they're out flying, there's nothing for them to forage. It's absolutely nothing. So they're burning, you know, you figure those foragers and that, they're going out looking for stuff. And Big Tim, hey, brother, when they don't find anything, instead of staying in that cluster like they normally would, they're out expending all that energy, and then they got to come back and eat. So they just burn through like whatever food stores they have in the hive. They burn through it so fast, and then you lose them.
Yep.
So
yeah, the only thing they're really supposed to do prepping is when you get a day where it kind of goes like here, it might be I guess a little bit different. It's like when it gets like right around 50 degrees, the bees will do like a cleaning is what it is. They'll take in the entrance, you'll see a lot of activity. They will take the dead bees out, just haul them off, and then you'll see a lot of bees just levitating right in the front of the entrance. What is called is a cleansing flight. They're literally just basically getting out, spreading their wings, kind of using their bathroom so they don't defecate, you know, in the hive and stuff. And they'll just do that, but they won't go out. But when you have those really warm days, like Cat's Hives was saying, it will literally hurt them because they're going to try to forage stuff. And most of the time, that's when you'll see bees. If you like it, people that have like urban beekeeping where they put them on roofs of buildings and stuff when it gets really hot, you'll see them like bees around trash cans or trash dumpster sites because they smell a little bit of like something sweet, and they'll actually just, in a sense, bring back garbage back to the hive if they get anything, but that's about it.
Right.
Yeah, that's, you know, like, and then a very key time, like in my area, as far as like, you know, we'll get through this cold spell, like prior winters, you get through the cold, and then folks think, oh, it's March, we're golden, we're good. That's actually like even like a more, it's a crucial time where you really got to watch them, just because there's no flowers, there's nothing for them, nothing started to bud out yet. So when they're out and the temps are warming up and they're flying, that's when typically a lot of beekeepers, you'll see them throwing on food. You know, they're throwing on the sugar syrup, you know, pollen patties, and they're giving them that boost. That way they're not, more or less, like the hive growth doesn't get stunted. You know, they've got, you know, enough food, you know, enough of the, you know, they've got the sugar water, they've got the pollen, so they got everything to build up. But March is that's a crucial time up here. So I know I missed a ton of comments, folks, but I will catch up. I will.
I was going to say, prepping and Cat's Hives, believe it or not, it's like you have to find, it's kind of like that medium ground. Hey to everybody, I can't read the comments, I'll just say hey as well. I like when you put the comments up there, Brian, I can read them too. But
yeah.
when there's also, like, my father-in-law, he does beekeeping down in North Carolina, and I've never heard of this issue before it happened to him, but North Carolina has, the last 2 years, has had very, very warm winters. Like I think they haven't dropped below the 30s yet. But one thing that I found out was,
I'll be right back.
Okay. I was going to say one thing about his Cat's Hive was he actually lost the hive because the queen started laying in December. and kept laying. So she laid so many bees that they literally ate the stores out before.
Yeah, they didn't have the stores.
Yeah, but he showed me a picture of like the bottom board. I mean, it had every bit of probably 10. Like it looked like a bee, like an actual bee package. It had about 10,000 bees in it.
Wow.
And he lost it because they ate so much, and he couldn't replenish it because their winter was so. They didn't even really have a winter last year.
You know, mine that I lost, I know exactly why I lost them. Now, I'll probably do a video going through one of them, but I guarantee it was mites. 100%. So? Oh yeah, 100%. Because last year I only did oxalic acid, and from what I've learned and talked to a lot of people, doing one treatment a week. You do the 3 treatments.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying that's not effective. That oxalic acid, it basically runs for, I think it's like 4 or 5 days effectiveness in a hive. So they say to do 8 treatments, literally every 3-4 days do a treatment and do 8.
Right.
So that way it spans, your mid-20s. Jeff C., what's up, man? Your mid-20s, almost a 30-day. You're hitting a whole month.
All right, I'm back.
To treat them, but it's mites.
Wow. Yeah. See that? I think now that you say that, sorry, I had to grab something out of the oven.
Oh, it's okay.
I think I lost my hives the first time, my second year. I lost them to mites because the same thing happened. It was crazy because I did the oxalic acid treatment, and my father-in-law gave me the Apivar, but the temperature dropped so quick. I missed my window to try the Apivar, and I guess another thing, try to do it as healthy as possible, or like less chemicals to better is the way I believe.
Yeah. Tony. Oh, sorry about that, Beehive. I'm gonna answer Tony here real quick. Tony, when I'm out checking the bees, if there's like a piece of comb that's hanging down off a frame or whatever, and it's capped over honey, I'll cut that off and just throw it in my mouth. So that's good. Yeah, but go ahead, Beehive.
I was going to say it surprised me when mine got attacked and I found out with mites. I could actually see the mites on them, and the part that bothered me was you could see that they actually, like, it's sad to see when they actually kill the brood. Just like when you lose a whole hive, you see all the damage, and it was rough. Yep.
I know mine, like, now when I was looking the other day, and I didn't film all this just because I want to do kind of like a next, after the video the other day, but, I could see the little white, I can see the poop.
Yep.
So I know that they were in there, and when you're seeing that, I know that, probably had a high mite load. The mite count was probably just way up. But then I was talking the other day also, and like if I treat also, and I never even thought about this. It just never even clicked in my head. There could be hives around my area that are from treatment free that have such an astronomical mite count, and you get that drift.
Yep.
So, and one of the guys that had mentioned that a little bit, it was Ian, Canadian Beekeeper blog. He mentioned it, and another guy mentioned it, and Ian was talking about the drift, and I was like, man, I never even thought about that.
You're exactly right.
I am very ticked off at YouTube right now.
What are they doing?
Well, okay, just to show y'all, again, not to distract from what y'all talking about, but just to share this real quick.
Hey, everyone coming in.
So there's the analytics on the video I just did for you to shout you out and let you know you were live. Look at the difference in views. The first 7 minutes or 5 minutes, I got nothing. But it's showing 505 and 258.
Yeah.
They're keeping me below my average.
I have one video that went up about 2 weeks ago that I've got 2,500 views on. Mm-hmm. It doesn't even show. it showed, like if I go to my analytics, it shows, but in my populars and all that, you can't find it. And in my, like if you go to my videos, it doesn't appear there either. But it's in my, if I go to my analytics and all that, I can find it through there. It's weird. But yeah, I've had a couple do that too. Then I'll look at the numbers and it's just off.
I mean, mine have been drastic, but the point is, it showed for like the first 5-10 minutes absolutely nothing. And it's just, it aggravates me, guys. I'm sorry I'm going on about it.
No, that's okay. My one from Monday in my analytics, like right now it shows, and this is good for me, this since Saturday when someone in here shouted it out and, my video that I put up about the dead hives, it says it's got 272, but then when I go to the analytics, it says there's 285. So there's a discrepancy there too.
But that's not nearly as big of a discrepancy as what I just showed you.
Yeah.
I've had discrepancies in the thousands.
Yeah, that's crazy. I wonder if
it's almost like Studio can't keep up.
I was gonna say. So if you use like TubeBuddy, like on one of my videos recently talking about like the egg incubation that we've done, you look at like TubeBuddy, it would tell me like one of my videos, like it hit over 300 views, but then you go back and you look at YouTube Studio, it was reading like 70 something views less than it. So I think that YouTube Studio, I think I could be wrong, but maybe it's trying to check, I guess, to make sure they're actually like legit views is what they call it, not just fake, but it's trying to catch up with it, prepping. And maybe because it's such like an influx with your video, like so fast, it really has to catch up.
Right. I understand that. And it just, I don't know, the discrepancy in it bugs the shit out of me.
Yeah. I know.
Because you immediately go to the studio to see how the video does, and it's like, what a letdown.
Yeah, I know.
Hey Dan, to answer that question about paintbrush, if you don't mind, let's say, is there a way or any way to keep them warm during the winter? Or is it natural for them to die every year? I know Castle Hives here does the similar thing that I've done. Is like I have 3-inch insulation foam around the outside of my hives, and I also use something called a Vivlati board for better ventilation. But basically, as a beekeeper, you have to take the extra steps and extra precautions to make sure your hive actually, you give it the best chance to make it through the winter. Anything can happen, like Castle Hives here. There was mites. The hives get locked up for winter, so to speak. Once they get into that phase where you can't get into the hive and literally physically work them anymore because of the weather, I hate to say it's kind of in God's hands. Like, you do everything that you can, and that's it. You pray for the best. You come into spring, you're coming out with strong hives.
Yep. Yeah. And what you really do, like what Beehive's saying, in the fall, I think in the fall, like when I was prepping, what's up, Rage? When I was like prepping my hives, just throwing the feed on, and in the fall is more or less where you see a lot of beekeepers will really like work their hives, because what you do in the fall is going to affect your spring. So if your bees go into the winter super strong, and then they go into the spring and they're not real weak, but they're just kind of got a good size to them, then they're just going to explode come springtime. And you'll just be amazed. I mean, 101, my one hive, that it's a bummer that I lost it, but its first year, second year, and even third year, I would bet that there was probably 70 or so thousand bees in that hive. I mean, I would open it up, and I got pictures of it. I would open it up, and they'd be spilling out the sides, and I would literally have my gloves, and I would be doing like this, scooping them up and just throwing them in. And I mean,
let me ask you this: when you open up a hive, how do you avoid not killing any of them?
Well,
Oh, that's a tough one.
At first, I would literally sit there, and if it took me 15 minutes of messing around and and there'd be one little bee that was running under some little crack, and I'd lift the whole box up, and then 500 had come back out, and I'm like, oh my! Now if I squish 10, 20 or so, I just say I'm sorry, and the queen's gonna lay over 1,000 eggs.
Yeah, the one thing you make sure is you don't hit that queen. But I'm right there with Castle Hives. You the first time you're trying to measure up the boxes, you're trying to get it on right. There's different techniques prepping. Like when you have your 2 boxes, a lot of people, they'll take it, and instead of just putting it flush on it, they'll take it sideways and do it. Yep. I had a couple pictures of hives like that too.
So point is they lay so many eggs that it in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter, but it still makes you feel bad.
Yes. Yeah. A queen, prepping a queen can lay 2,000, a good queen that you got, she can lay 2,000 eggs a day.
A day?
A day.
Here, look at, now this right here was after I did an inspection and all the hives were, or all the bees were out and about and stuff, but this was on the front and they were, going back in and stuff. But look at that.
Yep.
I mean, it just, it's amazing how many bees are in a hive.
Wow.
Like when I see pictures where people will go and, you get them kids that they'll tip over a hive just to mess with it or whatever. And I'm like, well, hopefully they got stung about 10,000 times because, people don't realize how many bees are in a hive. But yeah, there's a lot.
Okay, you were talking about the casualties come winter. Well, how does that happen in a wild hive, if you will? Like, how do they survive?
What?
I mean, the boxes y'all have are much more insulated and sturdy, if you will, compared to what they do in the wild.
Honeybees, you'll see them in trees, hollowed out trees. And those hollowed out trees are probably more insulated than what my boxes are.
Yeah, because if you think of it too, the way that they got their comb, like if you take a normal tree, let's say if you have like literally a 10-foot section, they hollow out one opening, and it probably goes the full up and down length.
Oh yeah.
And there's probably more than 100,000 bees in there when they're in there. So they're using nature. I mean, the way I look at it is they've been around a whole lot longer than we have, and they prepped. I mean, perfect example. If you go like a little bit of history, you go back and look. I mean, they had honey back in the time of like the Egyptians and stuff. And I'm sure they didn't have boxes. They were actually using like just clay pots and stuff like that.
Right.
So they're for something they can do. I mean, just bees naturally when they flap those wings and produce that heat. I mean, they can make anything, I guess, insulated. Because
I know they can fry a wasp pretty quick doing that.
Oh
yeah,
that's funny. That. Yeah, you'll see them ball up, on that wasp or whatever, and they cook it, and that's all they're doing is sitting shivering on it, and they cook it. So, wow, that is interesting. There, look at that. Russell, University of Wisconsin took a hive down to negative 127 Fahrenheit, and they were still fine.
Wow. That's impressive.
Probably hurting after that, but
yeah, they probably struggled tough. They probably couldn't move. I've seen it where it's been so cold. Like it's been here where it's you'll have a couple bees as it gets colder that they'll sit, for some reason they sit on the outside of the hive on the landing strip. Yeah. And you'll see when they're trying to move in the morning or whatever, they'll be like so slow. It's like they're just coming out of the heat thaw. They'll just sit there and they'll just slowly move, and then all of a sudden, boom! It's just like they're gone.
Yeah. Hey, I saw not that long ago, and I think it was maybe Paintbrush that had put up a question about honey and like harvesting it. So typically, what I do with mine is I don't touch, and this is just what I do.
Oh shit! I'm live in 15 minutes. I lost track of time.
There you
crap!
Go.
I will be.
Go
I
get
gotta
ready,
go, guys. I'm
right.
sorry.
I'll see you in like 15 minutes. But typically what I do with mine is about June or so. It just depends on, like, when you're watching the honey supers, how filled out they are. And then later towards the fall, you'll get another fall flow and they'll fill up the supers again. So if a hive is, if you have a good strong colony, but then also you got to have all the environmental factors are right. You got to have, just enough rain, but not too much, because if it's raining too much, they're not going to be able to get out and get any of the nectar. So just enough rain so that your flowers have nectar. You could harvest twice a year. And I got from my one hive, that one that I showed that picture in, I think it was a spring harvest, I got 73 pints out of that one hive. Now, what I do too is you'll hear people talk about deeps and then supers. Deeps are, and I forget the inches. Deeps are, it's a thicker box. Your supers are a thinner box, and that's typically what folks will, let the bees cap out for the honey. Whatever honey, at least for me, whatever they cap over honey in their deeps, I never touch it. If I get extra, if it's real early in the season and I have extra, I'll pull a frame out and put it in the freezer and then throw in an empty frame. That way they can cap that out, and that way they have extra for then in the winter. If it's in that crucial time like March or whatever and their reserves are running low, I can just go over to the freezer, pull a frame or two out, let them thaw, and just put them in the hive. But I don't I don't ever touch any of the honey that's in deeps. So, and Tanya, I do the same thing there. In Ohio here, I run double deeps.
I see. Now that you say that, Kessler, I experimented. I actually tried. I had one hive was in double deeps, and then I have two hives that are in a deep and a medium.
Oh, okay.
And they did good with that.
I was actually curious to Rumple. What's up, man? I was actually curious to run all mediums.
Okay.
And just run like 3 for brood.
Right.
And then, just so that I have all one standard size. But I've seen some people do that where they'll just so that all their equipment is the same.
Right.
They'll go and just buy bulk, mediums, frames, everything you can buy in bulk, and that way it makes it easy. But, I don't know.
I think. See, I've looked at it. I've looked at it as well. Sorry, you can go ahead and answer the question so I can get back to it.
Oh yeah, I see Tony here. Do I do anything with the honey? The only thing that I do to it is I've got 2 strainers that it just picks out the little wax if there's any little wax cappings, and then you'll get guaranteed, Tony, you're going to get little, bug parts, bee parts and stuff in there. But that's all I do. I filter the wax cappings and that out, and that's it, and I jar it.
Yes, the only thing I do the same thing you do. It's the different 2 micron filters, and the only thing I do different is I put cheesecloth over the first micron filter, so the cheesecloth catches the bee parts, and then everything else goes down into it, so you get very little bit.
Yeah. Jess, you take care.
See you later, Jess.
My Bosnian buddy here. Am I going to try a horizontal hive? I tell you what, I am seriously thinking about it. And one of the main reasons why I'm really thinking about getting into a horizontal is why I originally got into beekeeping. It's because of my mom. She wanted to get bees, and so I got her a flow hive, not knowing anything about it. I could have bought 3 hives for the price of that
for one flow hive.
Stupid thing. Probably could have gotten 4 for the price of that stupid thing. And but when she got hers, then I got my hive just to, so we had 2. But she hasn't done anything with the bees the last 3 years, and she wants to get back into it. Okay. So, but for her, I mean, she's going to be, she is 70 now. So for her, it's just lifting. She had an old hand injury when she worked in healthcare. She was a nurse, and a patient was falling out of bed. And when she caught him, she tore tendons in her one wrist. So that wrist has always been weaker. So whenever like we were working the hives, if they were really packed out, I'd have to lift everything.
Yeah.
The horizontal hive, though, really, if I get nice enough hinges on the thing, it'd be, one hand you could lift the roof.
Yep.
And then other than that, it's just lifting a frame at a time. So I'm really considering that horizontal. I am. One mark say here.
Let them fill the medium. That there, I don't take it off. Then on top of the medium, I run shallows. That's when I take off. Okay.
Okay.
I know a lot of people here. A lot of older guys are doing that. They're running more shallows, but I don't know. That shallows just worry me because I feel like they're so small. They fill it up just like that.
I know. Yeah. I know. That's my only thing too with some of those is, and you know how fast that they'll fill up a deep.
Yes.
When that flow is on,
I feel like you don't have enough time to catch it fast enough. No matter if you prepare it, count it to the day, I guarantee when you still open it up to try to check, it's going to be worse than you thought.
Yeah. Rodney, that's actually what I was thinking on doing, getting some type of just a strut or something on there. That way it just makes it real easy. So, yeah. Are there different kinds of honeybees? I don't even know how many different types. Yeah. Yeah, there's.
I feel like what most people have now, I hate to say it this way, it's I was talking to older beekeepers and they said now it's kind of like you get junkyard bees because a lot of people bring in Italians, and if you mix them with a Russian, whatever, you just different genes. So it's a junkyard bee.
Yeah. The guy that I'm getting my packages from, when he sells them and people ask him, and this is funny, I was actually on a Zoom thing with him, and he said when people are like, oh, are they Carniolans, are they Italians, are they whatever, he says they're mutts. And He said he had one lady last year get all upset that he called his bees mutts. And he said, I broke it down like this. He said, so when that queen goes out and flies out to wherever she goes, are you telling her, oh, no, only find drones that look like this, or only...
Yeah.
You don't know.
Well, see, that's the thing. That queen, she ends up, what is it, mating with 5 or 6 different drone bees.
Oh, there's a lot, yeah.
So
yeah.
You never know. You never know. Like, I guess the outcome of what it is.
Yep. Look at that Mutts Rock. I've got Mutts. That's.
Yeah.
That's.
Shoot, I got Mutts too. I got Mutts and I'm proud of it.
I know. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and right there, like if you catch a swarm, those that do catch swarms, how would you would have no idea what type of bees those are. There's some people now that now one of my mom's classmates from school ended up working for Department of Agriculture and did a study, and he specialized in honeybees.
Oh wow.
So my mom had asked us for her 50th class reunion. She had asked if my brother and I could just go and take pictures. They didn't want to pay like a professional photographer. They're like, can you just take pictures and just share them? I said, yeah, I don't care. She said, well, we'll feed you. I'm like, it's fine by me. So I got talking to this guy, and I showed him a couple pictures of my bees. And he said, oh, that probably has this gene and that has this. And I was like, how the heck do you know that? And he said, oh, I've done genetic testing on bees.
Wow.
Yeah. Somebody like that could look at it, but he said most often it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Mutts. They're mutts.
And I personally believe it's kind of better to have mutts too, because if your queen goes out there, if you have a certain breed and it goes out there and mates with another queen that maybe has a stronger, like the Russian bees have a stronger strain of the Varroa mite, like resistant, where they can actually like bite the mites off of them. You're getting the benefit of the doubt because you're getting a a breed now when the queen starts laying that they can actually fight the mites.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I can't this year. I just need this weather to break this year so I can get started again.
I'm excited for it. I'm supposed to get. I got to do a pickup of some more packages here at the end of March. So
how many packages are you getting?
Well, I'm adding 4 more myself, but then the neighbor or my friend that I told you that we're doing it. Basically, we're starting. It's another 8 hives.
Oh wow!
That we're gonna be adding on top of the 3 I had. I did have 5, but I actually lost 2 to a bear attack this year.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm gonna paint it up nice. I got the box, the actual deep where it has the bear paw claws right down the side of the box. I'm gonna put it back here. I'm gonna paint that bear paw on it, and I'm just gonna use it.
Yeah. Do you see Blanchard's bees comment there? He cut some of the bees last year. The queen was already booked.
Well, you want to hear something funny about that? Completely random. I had a swarm trap set up. I guess basically mine. I guess they got fed up with my queen. So my bees actually left the box. That queen took a horde of bees, left my box, went literally over 10 feet, and jumped in my swarm trap. And they made another queen. So I ended up had one hive, and it was from a fresh package. It wasn't even 2 weeks. I kid you not. That they literally, I went in there, I couldn't find the queen, and I see 5 different queen cells. I said, "Oh man, they done booted the brand new queen out." Sure enough, she just jumped ship and made her own swarm.
That's good though. I mean, if it went
cool.
right over to a box, yeah. I mean, I would take it.
Yeah. Where I got them set up on my land, it's kind of perfect because I got them, open area, but I put a couple boxes around, and I have 2 creeks that run through, so they got their water, and I think that's what helps them in that much more.
Yeah, nice. We there's bear where I'm at in Northeast Ohio. We don't get them often. They're starting to come across because I'm like 20 minutes from the Pennsylvania line. So,
okay.
From those hills over there in Pennsylvania, they're starting to come like here and there. You're spotting them in Ohio. We've had where my hives are at my mom's place some years ago it was a freak thing. I was working at the hospital and they were talking on the news and they were saying, a bear was spotted in Liberty Township. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. So when I was talking to my mom, she was watching my kids at the time. I said, hey, you might want to keep an eye. They said there was a bear in Liberty Township. That's where she's at. And she yells and she's like, oh my God, I got to go. It's across the street.
Oh man.
And it literally was across the street. She got her 2 dogs, got my kids, and got everybody inside. And the thing literally kind of just walked across the street, went down, through her yard up into the woods, and that was it.
Oh, wow.
Now a couple years ago, there was one, and I cracked up laughing, and it's half mile from my mom's. Another bear in the area, and it was at an ice cream store, a little local ice cream shop. And every night for like 2 weeks, they were having their trash tore up. They didn't have any idea what was going on until they put cameras in, and a bear was coming up out of the woods. And you figure, well, yeah, between all the ice cream that kids throw away and the cones that people don't eat, yep. The thing was feasting. So they had to put, they put locks on their, trash. But we get them, but not often. So, I've never really worried that much about bear. So
yeah, I came across the same ththing with mine. My neighbor would tell me, and different people would see it, and they'd be like, man, bears come through there, where you live. You may want to do it. I've seen a bear across the road. I was like, ain't no bear going to come all the way down my driveway or down below where I'm at. And here's the thing that got me about it, because I not only had 1 attack, I had 2 bear attacks in the same week.
Oh,
What happened? This is the thing, and I should have learned my lesson the first time, but that's why I learned it now. I thank God I still got my hives because I learned it. Because the first time it went through, it took one hive out, and it just, thankfully, it literally took the box and it flipped it back. And all the bees were still inside, but it started to rain. I think that's the only thing that saved it. The bees, he separated it, pulled a couple frames out, and it started to rain. So the bear took off because he probably got stung too much.
yeah.
I went down there. I freaked out. It was 7:30 in the morning, and I'm like, oh my, you can look at your land and all that stuff and you see it, but if something is off, you catch it out of the corner of your eye. I don't see the silver roof and I see it upside down.
Yep.
I go and set it up. I'm trying to think what could have knocked this down. Not thinking a bear. I'm thinking, oh man, maybe it was a raccoon or a skunk or something knocked it over. Not realizing that could be a bear.
Wow.
Then all of a sudden, like literally, I think it was 3 or 4 days later, I go down there, boom, a box torn apart, frames all over my yard. And I go into the little section of woods where the creek was. He had frames laid out everywhere, scratch marks down the honeycomb, and then I found that bear scat. And I was like, I knew it. I knew it was a bear.
Yeah. Now, because of that one bear really that walked through my mom's yard, when I very first put my hives up, I built the stand so that it would probably withstand a tornado to go through the yard. and then I put ratchet straps around each hive. And I just thought, well, it'll deter it enough that, it'll go a little bit and think, but
Yep.
So, but yeah, now what my plan is for this year though is I had one hive stand that was kind of closer over by my mom's house. And then there's a fenced in area where I built my new hive stand where my hives from last year were. So all the hives are going into the fenced area.
Okay.
And I'm going to put the electric fencing around the top of it. That way, if, and it's goat fencing is what it is because I think it's 100-foot by 100-foot square. And my mom used to have 2 goats and she don't have them anymore. Tony would wear suits. Yes, Tony.
Yes, I will never go out there without a suit. Never.
Yeah. But my plan is now to put all the bees over there because 100-foot by 100-foot, I'm going to end up taking the stand that I had. I'm going to take it all apart because it's all screwed together. So it'll probably take me 2-3 hours, but I'm just going to take all that lumber apart and move it over, bury the 4x4s and do all that again. But it'll be good. I mean, I'm looking at what happened this winter for me. I'm looking at it in that, I learned because moving forward, I'll know how to better treat, my hives. I know I kind of have a schedule in my head already of what I'm going to do. But then also, since there's no hives now on the stand that's by the house, I'm going to move everything into the fenced area. I'll get my electric fence up. And I was talking about that last year. I had told my mom, I said, because when people come over and she has cookouts, there's some people that freak out with the bees. So I had told her, I said, well, maybe over the winter while they're all hunkered down, I'll move them, So it's kind of like, everything all worked out. And it's not an entire loss, though, too, because how many frames of drawn comb do I have?
I was going to say, that's the way to look at it. My friend who lost his 2 hives, he's literally he has 20 frames that are fully drawn comb, and he even had some with honey on it. And I told him the best way you can do this is save that honey. Don't spin it. You take those 20 deep frames and you take your 4 bee packages you're getting and you put 5 drawn out combs and 5 empty. You're already now putting yourself a month ahead as soon as you install them because they got 5 frames drawn out. The queen can start laying immediately, not 21 days. She can start laying immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my plan. I'm probably going to do, because I have all 8 frames, so I'm probably going to do, probably what you said. 5. I'll probably put 5 frames in there. I'll stagger in. I might even do 6 and just stagger 2 newer frames because I'm gonna probably buy 20, 30 more frames just so that I have extras to kind of swap out.
Okay.
So keep some in the freezer and just to have spares. So,
yeah. Oh yeah, you want spares. That's what I've been working on this week. Has been putting a bunch of frames and boxes together.
I got to make a run. It'll probably be next week. There's a bee company. It's Blue Sky Bee Supply. They're in Ravenna, Ohio. It's like a half an hour drive from me. So, and now their store is closed. They, it's mainly online. But if you place an order, you can just pull right up to their dock, and you just call them up and say, "Hey, I placed this order." And then when you do the order, there's like a comments. It'll say leave comments for staff or whatever, and I'll just plug in a comment and say, live 30 minutes away. I'll be out after 4:30, and I pull up to the dock. I call them and say, "Hey, it's so and so. I placed this order," and they're okay, and they'll literally load it in the back of my car for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and for a half-hour drive, it's like, so
better than shipping. I drive to. We have Daydont Bees that's down here, and I guess it's Eden, North Carolina. That's like an hour and 15 minutes for me, where I have to drive down and get it, and it's still not a big store.
Yeah, I tell you, even that hour though, I mean, that'd be like for me from where I'm at to drive to Cleveland, I would probably do it versus paying shipping.
Yeah. That's how I got my bee packages. I cut out the shipping cost. I drove down there, picked them up, and drove back.
Where is that place again? It's in Rural Life. It's in Ravenna, Ohio. It's Blue Sky Bee Supply is the name of the place. So, Mark, I'll see you, buddy.
See you later, Mark.
Yeah, but go ahead.
I was gonna say that comment when I was seeing your video and stuff like that. I actually, you're one of the only other people I've seen have used the Vivlati board out there. Because I built one for myself, and my father-in-law didn't. I got him into beekeeping, and I told him about it this year and stuff like that. And he actually got into them and started doing it, and he loved them as well.
How'd you hear of the Vivaldis?
I actually follow Vino Farm on YouTube, and he built them. This is what's crazy about it. I kid you not. When I was working at my last job, when I was a police officer at our airport in Roanoke, I just started looking on YouTube and wanted to get into bees, and I found Vino's channel, and I watched, I guess you could say, all of his videos and followed him with his bees and like his Balboa hives and everything. And that's what got me so hooked on beekeeping. And then I did all my research myself and got into beekeeping. Been doing it now for going 4 years.
I started watching him. So the winter when I bought that flow hive for my mom, of course, what do you want to do? You want to learn about bees. So I got on YouTube.
Yep.
And I typed in Big Bee Preps. Yeah, I do sell it, but right now I'm out. But I typed in flow hive, and his video popped up. Now, he hadn't even put it together yet. The boxes, nothing. He had just gotten it. So that's how, and he only had, I just looked the other day, and he's way up there.
He has 89,000 followers or subscribers.
He only had, oh my gosh, a couple thousand then.
Dude, that's amazing. We started following at the same time.
Yeah.
I remember how new he was with it when he did it.
Yeah. And when this is way back. He had a neighbor or whatever that gave him a colony, and I mean, I've been through the whole.
Yeah, he went and picked up. He said his neighbor said, "Do you want the bees?" And he went way down the road in like that cut, picked up the bees and brought them back.
Yep.
I've been following him since then too.
Yeah, he's why I got my resource hives too, because I started seeing them on his channel, and I thought, man, that's just to have extra queens. And just to be able to pull out brood frames and everything and supplement to other hives, I thought it just sounds like win-win. So
Yep.
he's where I got my 2 resource hives.
Well, I was going to say my insulation, how he makes like the V cuts and he puts the tape stuff. I made those this year. I made those, and he was the reason why as well.
Oh, wow.
Like he's been, I guess you could say he's been like an inspiration because of like, if he can, I've realized if he can do it, hey, see you later, CJM Farms. But he's the one that inspired me. I was like, man, if he can do it up in Massachusetts where it's 10 times colder than Virginia, I can do it down here.
I know.
I like seeing his hives. Now the only difference is I have 10 frame hives, and he has 8 frames. But the cool thing I like about his was when he like takes the regular deep box and he basically puts 2 nukes on that one deep box and built them up, and then like has just 2 operating hives flowing out of one. That was amazing to me.
Yeah. He's learned a lot. He's done a lot, and his apiary. I mean, he's got a pretty solid little setup there now. So
yeah, with all the apple trees and all that stuff.
Yep. Well, that and then he's got all those shrubs around it now that have grown.
Yep.
The fencing. I mean, he didn't have any of that when he first started. So
yeah, I saw when you watched it. I'll see you later, Jesse Miller Unboxes. I loved seeing like his growth of it, because see, that's what you get into when you find those certain people. Like when he had the solar wall up and stuff like that.
Yep.
When he did.
I remember that. Yeah,
that was so cool too. I love the fact of his trees, because this past year, did you see the swarms he caught on those trees? Literally had him there to block the wind, and boom, he caught a swarm right off of it.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
he got, so last year I probably didn't watch all of his videos. I didn't watch any of his the barn build. Now I follow him on Instagram though too, and he puts more stuff on Instagram than what he does on YouTube. So, but yeah, I didn't watch any of his barn stuff, but his bees. But though I was just talking actually to my mom the other day, and I think in the last 6 months he's only put out like 5 videos.
Yeah, his I guess tribute to 2020 video. Like it's been a month since he put that out there, and it's I guess because with his barn and probably a lot that he hasn't shared, but there hasn't been a whole lot that he's done because of I guess stuff going on. Because you're right, he only put. It was crazy. You see like a lot of videos every week with the bees, and then it just dropped. And then like his 2020 video, he was like he hit on his bees, hit on his barn, and said we'll come back for more, and just hasn't done everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know with his barn though too. What was it? The windows. It took forever for him to get, but then permits.
They were backwards.
Too. Yeah, permits too. I mean, anyone building right now, you're just months behind. You're not going to get anything done. If you're waiting for, construction crews to do it, you're not going to get it done. And if you're building anything new, the permits are just not going to get it done.
Speaking on that too, I mean, you look at the permits, and then you're now having construction companies having to redo like contracts and stuff with people doing buildings because the price of lumber has skyrocketed.
Yeah.
We got a local guy that's a carpenter here, has been doing it for 25 plus years, and he's getting out of construction because he can barely break even because of the cost of the materials now because of COVID.
Wow.
It's been crazy.
That's one of the reasons why the old stand, why I'm moving it. Because I've got 4x4 posts on each corner, and then I went and got it's all treated lumber, like decking lumber. So I've got like 2x8s and that underneath. Like I said, I made this thing so I could stand on top of it and jump up and down, and it doesn't like bow or anything.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
So I just figure I'll go out there one day, I'll throw my earbuds in and just spend 2 hours or so, take it apart and just move it on over, and so. But
that's cool. I mean, it's good to reuse it. It works. It's good. And
yeah.
And I'll be honest. I mean, as people know it, we all know that. Well, if you don't know yet, you'll find out. Like beekeeping, it ain't cheap or for the faint-hearted. I mean, you gotta put in money, and 2, you gotta put in work.
Yep. Yeah. And the money though too with beekeeping, the classic thing, I forget who the heck said this, but I think it might have been Chad at 5L4H. Um, he shared something with me and it said, if you want to become a millionaire in beekeeping, start a billionaire.
Yep. I can see it. That's exactly right.
You know, I say every year, I'm like, I just, you know, the money that I get from my honey is enough that it kind of offsets a little bit of the cost, but not all of it. And now, like this winter, you know, for the packages and that I bought already, I spent, well, in supplies, I've probably spent $600 over the winter on beekeeping stuff.
Right.
So
you see, the only thing that saved me even for originally getting into or getting as much as I have now was I started looking on oh, that's awesome. Their own sawmill.
Yeah, that is.
I actually found like a deal on Craigslist where someone in our another town over from us, they were moving completely out of state and they were getting rid of their beekeeping supplies, didn't know what they had. They were asking $400, and Cats, I tell you what, now I see the value in it. I got well over, I think it was 100. They weren't put together all parts, but it was 100 deep frames, 100 medium frames. I got, I think it was 10 medium boxes, 8 deep boxes, and then like 2 complete hives. And then I even got the tote that you scrape all the cappings in.
Yeah.
Got the honey filter, and then like I even got like another bucket that you like can put your honey in. It like they gave me a lot, and they only priced it out at $400. The only thing I wish I would have got then was they didn't want to. They had 2 established hives, and they left them there for the neighbors. But I told them, I said, they got me worried because, you know, someone new coming in and said they got bees. Oh, I don't want bees right here on my back porch. Let me kill them. Like, that's the natural thing. So I wish I could have got those because they would have been established. But I got all these stuff, and it was worth it.
That is awesome. Wow. Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. Man. Yeah. I'm going to try. I tell you, oh, yeah. Here we go. Lucky.
It was kind of just like perfect timing, you know, not finding it. Yes.
Made out like a bandit. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I might try. I'm seriously thinking about next time I go out to Blue Sky, I'm seriously thinking about getting one of those polystyrene, those poly hives.
I've heard good things. I don't know if you know, like it's a Russian guy that does YouTube videos. Like it's like the Russian hack or whatever. He got into beekeeping and stuff. He has a very good video on those, on how he was doing his bees on it.
Yeah,
it's a very good to check it out. Very good.
There's him, and there's a guy in the UK that does. Gosh, I wish I knew his name, but he's been doing like reviews on all these poly hives. He's done like 6 or 7 different companies and all these poly hives. And yeah. I've asked, you know, what do you think about the poly hives? And he said, it's all I want to run anymore.
Wow.
So
well, I can see it, the wood and stuff, you know, if you don't paint it, like I started painting mine, you know, white and stuff, but you have to, I almost want to say religiously do those every year or two, or else, you know, you lose the quality of it.
Yeah.
I have one deep. Go ahead.
The poly, from what I understand, people recommend to paint it.
Okay.
Just so that the UV doesn't, you know, break it down.
Right.
As far as insulation, Blue Sky, on their website, they had a guy that lives down in Florida actually bought some from them and said that, like, with the Florida heat, that he would have problems in some of his hives. You know, they got cooked because it would get too hot. And he said with the poly, he doesn't have to worry about that because it's insulated from the heat.
Right.
So, and same thing, you know, like for us in the winter, I wouldn't have to throw anything on the outside of that thing because it's, you know, I mean, it's inch thick of poly. Yep. So, and they're vented. So
see, that's even better.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
Go ahead. Sorry.
They've got two different styles. One of them is just a standard and it's not vented, and then the other one is vented and it's got two like squares in the top that are cut out with it's like a hardware cloth or something over it, so it's got those vents on each end. And I thought, vented would be the way to go.
Yeah, vented is better, I think, naturally.
Yeah.
Have you seen the? It's called like the AZ Slovenian hive.
No.
It's a hive that they use it a lot over there in Slovenia and stuff like that. It's really interesting. It's like basically it's its own house. That the frames sit like freely. They sit in there like long ways like this, and it has grates. You basically have one giant box, like however big you build it, and you have 3 hives in one. But you can a lot of times what they do is like if you look at the Slovenian, they have a building. It's like they take it like a 8x10 outbuilding, put it in there, and they put the front of the Slovenian hive in the building, the front on the building, and the box is inside, so they can actually work their bees in the winter because their winters are a lot harsher than ours, and they can pull out the frames, check it. It's really interesting, and I wanted to kind of experiment with it because I have a beekeeping friend here. He's a doctor at our hospital. He got into bees. Very smart man. He actually built his own hive that actually it basically takes 2 deep frames and you can put them together as one like giant frame. And he has 10 of those in a hive. It's a huge box. And he built it with 2-inch insulation on the inside. So and it has like a metal roof. So he doesn't even have to do anything for winter. He can literally just, it's insulated for the summer, insulated for the winter. But he's talking about wanting to build one of those. So I think that's kind of a good one. It's actually made so you can have multiple hives in such a close location without worrying about them getting hit or attacked.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, if you get some time, check those out and look at the AZ.
Yeah, I will. This year, that's what I'm saying. I can't wait until we get to like April, because once we get into April, and even into March when I can just start, like I'll probably move the stand in March, get stuff kind of situated and organized. But once April hits and I get my packages and stuff starts rolling, I just cannot wait.
Yeah, I can't wait to start seeing that and and keeping you posted and like basically seeing. I love seeing like things with the with the bees when you see other people, like you're in Ohio, I'm down here in Virginia, seeing different ways that we set them up because everybody's different, and I think
everybody is. Yeah,
I think that's awesome about it. Like I don't know, it excites me. Like this spring excites me, especially because of the size of the garden we're doing. Like having those hives, I've noticed my garden has had a double the amount of, I guess, growth ever since I put the bees on my property.
AZ?
It's all used back home in Bosnia too. The AZ Slovenian hive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's a very, very cool hive. Like the way they set up, like if you have one, but I think if you're like, since you're not a beginner, that's why I can tell you about it. That's the thing. It's like for very beginner beekeepers, I think it'd be harder for them to kind of understand. I think the experience comes in handy when you work like a Langstroth hive. And I was like you, I bought a flow hive as well, like my first one. And I never the bees never touched the plastic flow hives whatsoever.
Yeah.
So,
you know what I had to do to finally get mine to use it?
What's that?
There were 2 people that gave me the tips on how to do it. They said, no, there was actually 3. One guy said, you got to wax the frames. He said, take leftover wax that you've processed and wax all your frames. So I did that, and then they still weren't touching it that much. And so I got talking to another buddy of mine, and he said, do you run single or double deeps? I said, I have double deeps. He said, you have to run a single deep with a flow hive. He said, it's like you almost have to force them to use it.
And see, I had double deeps.
If you see all the flow hives, whenever they do live streams or they do videos or anything, it's a single deep with the flow super. And I didn't even think about it.
That's
I
smart.
didn't
Yeah, I
even think about it. And the issue that I had then, so I had combined it down. I pulled some frames of brood out, supplemented it. I made another resource hive. I pulled, I shifted stuff around, and I shook a lot of bees back in that hive. That way it had like a booming, population still. And
right.
I was cutting cups out of that thing like mad then, because they basically were in a double deep that, because I wanted them to use this flow super, I squished them all down, and every week when I'd check them, I was cutting cups out of that one deep, and I'm like, this isn't going to make any sense, because they're going to swarm like crazy just so that I can use this flow super.
That is crazy.
And so I'm going to sell it. It just, the amount of work that I had to put into, and then when they used it, I gave that honey to my mom. I think we got 6 pints. I was like, all this work to get 6 pints.
6 pints.
Yeah. When the hive right next to it, it had already pumped out 20 to 30. And I'm like, so I can spend a couple $100 and get these flow things, or I can go and slap together a regular super and get 5 times the amount of honey.
Yeah.
So,
but that was, I felt mine. It seemed like the hive beetles used it more than the bees.
Well, the very first year that I put the flow super on, it basically was an ant's nest.
Oh wow!
When I was looking in there, I saw these little eggs, and I thought, did the queen get up in there? And then I'm looking and I'm seeing ants, and I'm like, it's a damn ant's nest.
Yeah.
So I literally had to take it and hose it out from all the ants in it. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So
yeah,
but yeah, it was no good. So yeah, my Bosnian buddy, don't get a flow hive.
Yeah, I'm right with you. NKY honeybees do not. They are bad. They're now if also, the way they got it in Australia, set it up, made it look real pretty. A perfect idea. I'll give them that. It's a great idea.
Yeah,
but I think the concept of it is different. It needs to be fixed.
Yeah, well, and what I say though too is, it's very dependent on the environment where it's located.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, look at Australia, where they originated. The idea originated from. They don't get much rain like that as much as we do.
Yep, it's just super dependent on the environment, and like cold climates like this. Like now some people have worked them and they get honey from them, but my experience, the amount of extra work that went into it just to get 6 pints of honey, wasn't worth it. So to go back for 1 second, not to change it so quick, but that to be or not to be, they were talking about there in Washington, and they have like the moisture. If you're still here, to be or not to be, if you look at the if you're interested in, like, you're doing beekeeping and stuff, look at the blotch board. Because to help control with that moisture, you put burlap over your inner cover, and it actually draws in more. It has like you're basically making a ventilation chamber for the air to flow. Like when you have the lid on, you make a chamber that the air comes up and it'll go out the sides on both sides, and that burlap's supposed to catch all that moisture if it develops in the roof. Yeah, what I would do with my Vivaldi's also is I basically have 2 sets of burlap, so that when I would check mine through the winter, and if I feel any moisture in the burlap, I pull it out and I put a new set in.
Yep, that's what I did. I thankfully here, like where we have a Tractor Supply here, they sell like burlap sacks, $1 a sack, and that's what I did. I stocked up on all of them, and I literally, I just did the same thing. I put 2 or 3 pieces in there, and I would check them, feel the moisture, pop it out. You set in, let those, hang them up on like a line or a shelf, let them dry, and then they're ready to go.
Yep.
Okay, you're not to be. I wasn't sure, but that's awesome.
Right there. It seems like a garden prop. Yes.
You're exactly right.
Yeah. That right there is actually a good idea there too. Wood shavings from a planer.
Yep, wood shavings. That's that's perfect example too. That's a good one.
Yeah. I forget what the heck do they call those boxes that some beekeepers use? Quilt boxes.
Yep.
And some people I've seen where they take and they'll kind of stitch a pillow and they'll put the wood shavings inside of like burlap. Quilt boxes. Yep. Yeah. It is 9:30, brother. I'm looking at the time.
Oh yeah, that's what happens when you talk about good stuff. Time just flies by with it.
I'm telling you. Yeah. I'm going to get a couple things done here. This chat, I loved it.
Yeah, it was great. I just wanted to say this is the first time I've been on one of your chats. I appreciate you having me on here and stuff, and also congrats on getting over 1K subs. It's awesome.
I just kept plugging along, but 101 with his shout out last weekend and stuff.
I was in there when he shouted it out.
What I love the one thing that I'll say that, like, set aside from all the craziness of 2020, the one thing that 2020 did for me is introduced me to every one of you. Right. And, there's people that I literally text and I talk to people that I've met on YouTube almost every day. So,
it's away from family.
Yeah, it is. And just the community of people that I've met on here is just, everybody's amazing. So, but yeah, you'll have to join in again. I'm going to try and do, if the 8 p.m. on Wednesdays seems to work, I'm going to try and do that 8 p.m. every Wednesday. Just get that slot going so people remember it. So if you want to pop in every week, go ahead.
Oh, definitely. So, I enjoy talking to good people and good company. And also, anything with bees and homesteading, all that stuff, it comes in handy. I learn a lot, like even stuff with your, there's always room to advance. And I think that's something that's been amazing. And I love when people ask questions because it keeps my knowledge fresh. And like, for example, your chat, awesome, by the way, guys, like all those questions and even like the different beekeepers in here. Oh man, it was great. This is the first time I've been part of a beekeeping, I guess, live. You could say like actually joined up to a talked.
Yeah. Now I'm going to try and get a couple, like, some well-known channels to pop in. I'm going to email some folks. I've talked to one and they said that if they can make it this Saturday, they will. So, but I'm going to try and line up just to talk to some other more experienced beekeepers and, just to see, more or less what got them into it. And then also like the community of people to ask questions and just to learn,
Right.
So, but I'm going to see if I can, don't hurt to ask. So the one I already asked, they said, they, got stuff going on through the day, but they'll definitely try and jump in for a little bit. So,
right. Okay.
Yeah. So,
that's awesome.
But yeah, you take care though, man. It was good talking, and everybody in here. I got to say thank you 1,000 times. So 1,000 times over. So, but yeah, like I said, 8 p.m. Next Wednesday. So.
Okay, that sounds good.
And if you haven't, go to that last video and plug in the little comment that's down from in the comments. You'll see. So, for a chance to win.
Check it out, guys. It's a great video, and also you can learn some. And hey, it's a free giveaway too that he's doing for everybody. So definitely check it out.
And even to beer, the Honeystead. That's where the hive tool will come from. The Honeystead.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, and basically my prize, it's going to be one of her hive tools from her Etsy shop.
Oh, nice.
And I'll just let the person go on there and pick and let me know which one it is, and then I'll set up for her to ship it to you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Kaylee is awesome. Yeah, I've actually bought 2 of her hive tools. So, and I did a giveaway before. So,
Well,
yeah.
I'm gonna check her out after we get off of here. Because I haven't seen that yet. Like I said, it's weird. I'll be honest with you. Last thing I'll leave you with, because I've been on YouTube, I guess, not long, but I've had the channel, I guess, made it back in 2019. And then I just started it because of COVID. I started getting into it more, being stuck at home and everything. So like you said, learning from everybody and being able to meet these people. I never knew they existed. Like all this all this bee equipment that these people do. Oh man, I felt blown away with all this.
I'll show you a picture of one of the hive tools that she does.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go check her out because I got those rinky-dink, like regular silver hive tools and all that. I got to do that.
So here's a little bit of what she does.
Wow.
And they're all custom. She made me one before, and we chatted on Instagram, and here's what she did for me before. She made that with the honeycomb, and she has Castle hives down the one. And because I had asked her, I emailed her and I said, hey, could you put my name on one? And she said, yeah. And then she heard about the giveaway that I was going to do. So she emailed me and said, I'm going to send you a free one that you can include in another giveaway. And I was like, oh, wow, that's awesome. So one of my viewers already has one of her custom tools.
Wow.
So, yeah, but Saturday, that's what but it's got to be a beekeeper that wins that, just because, any other person, what are they going to do with a custom hive?
Yeah.
They won't know what to do with it. So, but
definitely, I'll be there for sure to check it out.
Okay. All right, man. So I'll see you on Saturday, and then next Wednesday, 8 p.m.
Yes, sir. You take care. And
yep.
See you guys.
Yeah. I'll see everybody. Take care.